Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy GZTV back with another one real quickly. I gotta get this video out somewhat quick. We have the 11th episode of the third season, the 37th overall episode of the Sopranos. We have Barrens. Yeah, I don't know how much content you guys are actually gonna get this weekend. I'm gonna try to get this Drake video posted sometime, maybe in the afternoon. If it doesn't come out then, it'll probably come out tomorrow. But yeah, this is a really good episode. A lot to talk about here. Let's get into kind of the synopsis and what happened, and maybe give a review. You know, people died. So following a change in Jackie Jr.'s behavior, Meadow begins to suspect he is cheating on her. You know, she gets this kind of weird vibe from him. Her suspicions are confirmed when she catches him with another girl, like her and one of her college dorm mates kind of travel over there and like catch him. Heartbroken, she tells him they are finished. Obviously, you gotta end the relationship right then and there. So, Gloria and Tony's relationship is growing increasingly unstable, and the two frequently argue, though they always reconcile. And obviously, we know why Gloria is kind of going into therapy and stuff because of her relationship struggles. So, yeah. Tony tells Dr. Melfi that he is seeing Gloria, like he actually like discloses that with her, and she kind of had the suspicion anyway that was happening. So in the first session, he speaks of how happy they are together, and the second, he complains of her changing mood. So there's a lot of alternating things, a lot of contradiction going on with their relationship. At first, they're super happy, you know, they're having good sex, you know. They realize they actually like each other. They don't want to use each other for intercourse, you know. But then it just changes. So, Melfi says Gloria is depressive, unstable, and impossible to please, asking Tony if that reminds him of anyone, kind of implying his mother. You know, their therapy sessions, at least when his mother was alive, were centered around her, so now she kind of like draws that back. She's like, well, does this remind you of anything? Tony shakes his head no, and I feel like he's just too ignorant to understand kind of what she's getting at there. But yeah, that's not even really the most important part of the story, because Tony instructs Paulie to make a collection from Valerie, a Russian, on behalf of Silvio, who is ill. So they gotta pick up some money that he kind of owes them or something. Like, that was kind of like the whole ordeal, and it gets him in a crazy situation that you wouldn't even expect them to get in. So he goes with Christopher to Valerie's apartment. You gotta have someone with you, you know, back up, that sort of thing. Paulie provokes Valerie and starts a fight. You know how Russians are. I mean, I'm not even trying to be stereotypical, but they're... What's going on, Chippy? I mean, they're super aggressive people. So, following his struggle, Paulie and Christopher manage to subdue Valerie and believe they have killed him. They believe they hit him in the head and killed him. So, panicked, Paulie suggests that they dump him in the Pine Barrens. This obviously wasn't to plan. They didn't plan on killing this guy, and they didn't even do that. So, yeah, it's really interesting. His fate was one of, like, the big things of the episode, because, like, after all this happens, you kind of wonder what the hell happened to that guy. But, yeah, I know I'm kind of going quick. So, in the snow-covered woods, Paulie and Chris prepare to dump the body, but find that Valerie, who is revealed to be a trained commando, is still alive. It's kind of funny. You know, Tony kind of calls them on the phone. He's like, this guy is for real. He's a Green Beret. He fought in many wars. He was actually one of the other Russians that, like, they're doing work with. He was one of his, like, comrades, and, like, was in the army with him, and they're very close with each other. Valerie saved his life and all this stuff, and this is like super important to the Slavko, I think his name is. But so they give him a shovel and instruct him to dig his own grave, because they gotta finish the job. They gotta kill him. I don't know why the hell they would give him a shovel though. While both are distracted, Valerie hits him with the shovel and flees. He runs away, and this just ensues throughout the whole episode. They're just chasing this guy around. So they chase him, shooting wildly, with Paulie believing that he has hit him. He thought he hit him in the head. They follow his track, but it ends. Valerie has vanished, and it creates this whole mysterious thing that's just going to carry throughout the rest of the episode. And they really shot something else. So, yeah. After wandering in the woods trying to find their car, Paulie and Chris realize they are lost. They realize they chased this man way too deep in the woods to make a return to their car and to retrace their steps, because the snow, like, piled over their footprints. Long after nightfall, faint with cold and hunger, they find an abandoned van where they take refuge. And this really reminds me of like the Better Call Saul episode, where they're like walking through the desert to get the duffel bag of cash. with like Mike Ehrmantraut and Saul. That really reminds me of that, and maybe they got inspiration from that, just in a different element. I think it's kind of cool how those two contradict each other. So they blame each other for what has happened, and the two fight before agreeing to stay together. I mean, they're brothers forever. This is a brotherhood, a family. Yeah, honestly. So, in the middle of the night, Paulie manages to call Tony despite poor cell service and pleads for help. Like, obviously, they're breaking up on the call. They can't really make out words from each other. Tony drives out with Bobby, an amateur outdoorsman. You know, his dad used to take him hunting as a kid, so he kind of knows the woods a little bit. They reach the parking spot, but Paulie's car, containing the money from Valerie, has vanished. So now they have to, now they kind of want to try to find that, because that's the whole reason they came out here. That's the whole reason Valerie was confronted, was to get this money that he owed. They wait until dawn to look for Paulie and Chris, and eventually find them. They literally just stay out there all night. So Paulie gives a false version of what caused the fight with Valerie, and Chris backs him up because, obviously lying to the boss isn't a good thing, but they don't want to give him all the details because it looks really bad. Tony stresses to Paulie that if Valerie ever turns up again, Paulie will have to take care of it. He'll have to kill him. He'll have to subdue him, whatever. They head back to North Jersey in silence. Only Bobby has peace of mind. So Valerie's fate, I don't know. I'm not going to go too in-depth about it. Did he die? Did he not? I don't know. That's obviously like the whole controversy of the episode. Christopher shot a white-tailed deer mistaken it for Valerie, so that's kind of important. They follow the trail and they find this deer on the ground. And they're like, well, shit, we didn't kill the guy. But I guess just getting into Valerie's thing a little bit. Shortly after Valerie escapes into the Pine Barrens, Paulie shoots him apparently in the head, but he still vanishes. The camera shifts away from Paulie and Christopher to an aerial viewpoint, suggesting that Valerie was watching them from a tree. So there's some clues. The show kind of leaves it up for interpretation. In addition, Paulie's car is missing when they return. Valerie was never seen again. It was never intended to have Valerie return, and the story is richer and more realistic with some mystery in the plot, which is kind of cool. I think it's something that they tried out that's new and pretty awesome. He might be dead, he might not be. It's kind of up to the audience to decide. Maybe he stole the car and went back to Jersey and is hiding now. I don't know. I guess maybe it'll be kind of explained later on in the series, or maybe it won't. But leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I am out. I gotta get to some homework and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. Hopefully that Drake video comes out maybe tonight. I don't know how that's going to go, but yeah, as always, it has been GZTV reviewing the best TV shows out there. We're gonna do this. We're probably gonna get into like Cobra Kai soon. We're not even close to like the end of this, by the way, but yeah, just looking ahead.